Hey, good morning, everyone. Have I got a word for you today? Hey, I want us to go back to Acts chapter 8. We're going to read verse 25 as I've just been kind of reading and rereading that chapter 8 in the book of Acts. I'd encourage you to find a spot, find a book in the Bible and just read it and reread it and reread it until you feel released, until God's spoken to you out of that chapter, out of that book. But I want us to go to verse 25. It's talking about Peter and John. They're moving about. They've been dealing with the persecution, after Saul killed Stephen and, was basically running Christians down, locking them up, having them killed. But here's what I found interesting. Here in verse 25, it says, when they had testified and proclaimed the word of the Lord, Peter and John returned to Jerusalem, preaching the gospel in many Samaritan villages. So, as I'm reading through that, they're on the run, right? They're on the run, but they are testifying and they're proclaiming what they saw Jesus do. He's saying they proclaimed the word of the Lord. They were sharing what they heard Jesus say. They were sharing what they saw Jesus do. A testimony of preaching. Really, our lifestyle should be a preach. Our lifestyle should reflect what Jesus Christ has done in our lives. But it says there is, as Peter and John returned to Jerusalem, so they're traveling, they're on the road, preaching the gospel in many Samaritan villages. So it said all along the way, in all the Samaritan villages, they represented the King. They represented Jesus Christ. So, it's challenging me, should be challenging you, that everywhere you go, day in and day out, that we should be representing the King in all these Samaritan villages. We are to proclaim his good news with our life and with our mouths, with our very being, everywhere we go, every day. We need to be representing the King. Are you representing the King today? I want you to grab a hold of that. I want you to know that Jesus loves you. He doesn't care what you did yesterday. He's really concerned with you today. He's concerned that you give him a holler, you tell him you love him, you tell him you ask him for forgiveness of the mistakes that you've made and to give you the strength to be a better you. I want you to grab a hold of that. You be blessed.